How we doing, nation? John here. I'm getting old. I'm just saying. Oh, wait just a second. It's time for the obligatory thumbnail art, right? We need thumbnail art that screams fear and desperation. Let me try this real quick. It's gonna be hard to keep a straight face, but I'm gonna do it because this is how YouTube works. Y'all ready? Y'all let me know in the comments if this is any good or no. Okay. That's about all I can do. I can't hold my face. Your face will freeze that way. My mom used to tell me that when I'd give her a dirty look. How's everybody doing this morning / afternoon, whenever this gets posted? Right now, my friends Adam and David are taking care of the social media. As many of you know, eventually my kids are going to take it over for me. They're really good with social media. But anyway, I'm getting old. I'm going to start there this morning. We're going to get into some prepping stuff as well. But I got to start with I'm getting old. And here's how I know. Here is the litmus test for you being old or not, right? For you kind of hitting the apex and it's all downhill, son. Now, some of y'all have said in the past that, oh, John, you're not old. You're still wet behind the ears. And I appreciate it. But I'm only wet behind the ears when I'm standing outside in the rain, son. Let me give you the litmus test. Here's how you know you're old. When you're in an elevator or the grocery store, which we're going to be talking about this morning, and every song that comes on the radio is in your exclusive playlist, you're freaking old, right? So this is happening to me. I realized this the other day. I don't hit them all every single day. That's what she said. I had to throw it in there. That's what he said, right? Anyway, I digress. I noticed this in the grocery store the other day. Okay, I've got 50 or so songs that are kind of on a playlist that I listen to. I don't listen to all 50 every morning. I'll listen to like 8 or 9 of them every single morning when I'm getting ready for the day. You know what I mean? Whatever the day has in store. And we're in the grocery store the other day. We're in a Food City, and I'm like, oh my God, every song that they're playing is on my list. I thought this was cool music. I'm telling my kids, oh no, y'all need to get on this one right here. This is Def Leppard right here, son. Listen, just listen. And then I hear it in the grocery store, and I'm like, well, maybe it's not as cool as I thought. Or maybe I'm just old. But we're going to talk about the grocery store this morning, and I don't want to tell you this, all right? I think I'm going to name the video that this morning. I don't want to tell you this, but something along those lines, you know, to go with the whole, right? YouTube's funny that way. But I guarantee you more people will click on that thumbnail than they would a regular one, me just sitting here chilling. Anyway, we got to talk about the grocery store. I don't want to talk about it, but I've been informed that everybody's talking about World War III all of a sudden. And also the war in Ukraine and how this is going to trigger World War III. And y'all know the spiel by now. World War III is closer than you think. Get ready. Like, if you're not ready by now, and you've been in the prepping community for a while, watching videos and stuff, you're not ever going to be ready. Because if you haven't taken the initiative by now, you're not going to. I mean, that's just how it works. So I don't know, man. There's a lot of crazy stuff taking place right now. And this is not meant to bash President Trump. Some people are going to take this the wrong way, and they're going to bash President Trump. Matter of fact, there's a little white box below this video. It says comments or something to that effect. I don't remember. Something like that. Leave a comment and let me know, what kind of job do you think President Trump is doing so far? Because apolitical, not going to get very political this morning, but I'm going to talk about a few decisions and a few things, decisions he's made and a few things that he said. and how that's affecting me in the grocery store. My wife and I, at least, and many of you. So, English is the official language here in the United States. Woo! Woo! I wish I had some maracas, I'd shake them or something, but I don't. Who's got maracas in 2025, right? Who cares? Who cares what the official language here in the United States is? And some people are going to be like, and I get it. Again, this is not a low blow toward Donald Trump or anything. People are going to say, well, it should have always been the official language of the United States. You know, why do I have to press one for English is what a lot of people say. And I get that. I really do. But I'm not sure how that changes the cost of living whatsoever. Okay? Yay. I get to complain about the prices of eggs in English, and it's official now, right? But the prices of eggs still haven't come down. The cost of living still hasn't come down. The meeting where we totally cut Zelensky off, money-wise, the gravy train is over, according to Donald Trump. I don't know. I saw it on the news briefly. They got some kind of resource or mineral deal worked out to where if Zelensky gives him a bunch of minerals, the funding will continue. To me, it's all distraction at this point. Because whether we cut Ukraine off or not, my cost of living still has not come down. Right? So you're starting to see the common denominator here. Okay? He's talking about shutting down the what is it? The education department, you know. Linda McMahon gets confirmed, whatever. Is that going to drop my cost of living? No. No, it's not. This country has a lot of problems, and again, I'm not trying to beat up on Donald Trump. They're like on the news like, woo, we got rid of 250 criminals, illegal criminals. Awesome. Now let's work on the other 30 million because I'm not so impressed right now. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm not very impressed right now with the job Trump is doing. Now, I say that with a caveat, and this is where the comment section becomes very, very important. Okay, and I do, I'm getting print offs of these comments and things. For example, Ginger, we're going to talk about, at some point, we're going to talk about the digital currency. I think you would call it Ripple or something like that. I'm not an expert, so it's just going to be my 2 cents, which is basically all I have left over after I grocery shop anyway, is 2 cents. But we're going to get to that topic eventually, and a lot of other things that you guys have posted. But we're getting killed at the grocery store. We are getting killed at the pump. The average American, I'm saying. Now, if you're well-to-do and super well-off, this may not affect you. Insurance premiums, taxes, just the cost of living, the cost of being a housed U.S. citizen is astronomical right now. And I'm sorry, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm not focused on World War III right now. I'm not focused on the war in the Middle East. I'm not focused on the war, between Russia and Ukraine. I'm focused on how do I lower my bills. The real war, at least in my hood, is the war that it's against my wallet. All right? It seems like every time I go to the grocery store, I walk out feeling like I need to file charges against somebody, like assault was committed. I feel like I just got tased and pepper sprayed and all that. And again, I only got 2 cents left to my name at that point. It's gotten out of hand. Okay, eggs right now, $8 approximately. They're going to be a few cents cheaper over here, a few cents more over here. Approximately $8 a dozen. Eggs, milk, steak. I just ate a steak last night, but we had to pay for it. We had to pay a lot more than we should afford, okay? Bringing us back to Donald Trump. We're in a trade war now, officially. As I film this, I don't know how long it's going to last, but as I film this, we're in a trade war with the other North American countries, Canada and Mexico. And I'm not against this concept. Excuse me, I want to be very clear on that. I understand why Donald Trump is doing what he's doing. He's trying to bring jobs back to the United States. He's trying to make the United States self-sufficient. He's trying to nationalize things. And as you folks know, you long-timers here at Prepper Nation, if you're not a long-timer, what are you waiting on, son? Hit subscribe, by the way. But again, I digress. I am for this. I'm all about nationalizing things. You know, I'm about fair trade as well, but I'm about nationalizing things. We should not be so heavily dependent on China for medications. We should not be so heavily dependent. I don't know how many people know this, but most of the raw materials, like the minerals that we need to make military equipment, actually comes from Canada. And now they're talking about completely cutting that off. Not throwing a tariff on it. They're, you know, the minister, I think it was of Ontario, is where a lot of this stuff comes from. He's like, we're just going to cut it off completely. We don't want to, but we're going to. Right? Nobody really wins a trade war short term. What does this mean? And again, sorry I have to tell you this, but the cost of living is getting ready to go up. Because while I understand what Trump is doing, and while I agree with the idea of nationalism, what President Trump should have done, my opinion, my 2 cents, y'all let me know your 2 cents in the comments section, please. He should have lowered the cost of living first. He should have gotten us back to a point where it was affordable to live. Driven gasoline down to $2 a gallon. Made it to where we could afford groceries again. Eliminated a lot of the tax burden that's on the working class American. Right? I know he passed this deal, or he's trying to at least. I don't know if it's officially passed or not. Y'all let me know. Because again, I'm just watching the news at this point. It's all propaganda anyway, but no tax on tips. Well, a lot of tips aren't reported anyway, come tax time. I know. Call me a death row inmate, son. I'm shocked. Personally, I don't know that I would report them. So, I mean, I don't know. On one hand, I understand and I respect what this man is trying to do. I do think that he's America first. But I think his priorities, although his priorities are good, they're out of order. They're totally out of order. You know, I agree with sending people down to the border. You know, our active duty military. That's awesome. That's awesome. They're protecting our country. But if you're only going to be deporting 200, 300 people a day, 400 people a day, this man would have to be president for 100 years to get all these people out. This is not mass deportations like we were promised. I understand going after the worst of the worst first, but this is not what he promised on the campaign trail. He promised massive deportations. So you're either going to have to massively deport these people, or you're going to have to find a way to bring them into the fold, make them U.S. citizens, put tax burden on them as well. Okay, so I mean, I really don't know where to go here. I don't care about World War III. I'm not going to be fighting in World War III unless they come here. My kids, they're not going to be fighting in World War III unless the enemy's here. They know. Go to jail. Get into ministry work, something like this. There are workarounds. They're not going to be drafted and sent off in a billionaire's war. I've already had this discussion with them. They're on board with that. I know a lot of people are gonna look at that negatively and say, well, they should do their service to the country. And I respect service to the country, I truly do, but I think it should be voluntary. I'm not a fan of the draft. I think if you don't have enough soldiers, you shouldn't be instigating wars. Okay? So, again, Trump is talking about possibly pulling us out of NATO. I'm totally okay with this. NATO, son, they like that baby bird. Kick them out of the nest. Can they make it on their own, or do they crash on the ground? At some point, you got to figure it out. We cannot afford to continue to finance NATO forever. We heavily support NATO financially. We can't keep doing it. All of these proxy wars, we can't afford these. It's been this way for a long time. And so I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of pulling out of NATO. I'm a fan of keeping our nose clean from all of the conflicts in Europe especially, but also the Middle East. This man has said some incredibly dumb things. I know. If you're one of those people out here that kiss his boots and think he's the savior, we disagree on this, okay? I already have a savior. So let me just say, this man is not without faults. We all have faults. His desire to absorb the Gaza Strip and basically turn it into Las Vegas 2.0 is extremely stupid. This is a great place to start closing now. It's extremely stupid, okay? I used to work armed security, and I worked with a guy named Alex. All right, very, very cool but smart individual. He was a U.S. citizen, but he was originally from Egypt, okay? So he understood, and this was during the time that we first went into Afghanistan. And he understood better than I did at that point in time, at least, the geopolitical stuff. Said, you don't understand, we're gonna get Saddam, we're gonna get, Bin Laden and all this stuff. He said, it doesn't matter. Because you're not fighting Saddam, you're not fighting Bin Laden, you're fighting an ideology. And that is an unwinnable war. Meaning, you take out Saddam, you've got 10 people ready to take his place. There's always going to be this next man up mentality with these warlords in the Middle East. You're never going to be able to take the Gaza Strip and turn it into the Las Vegas Strip. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. These people are not going to allow it to happen. Between this and Trump wanting or floating the idea of buying Canada, like, can we just stop with the stupid hot takes, Trump, please? He's never going to see this video, but if anybody's got Donald Trump's ear, please, we don't need to buy Canada. They don't want to be a part of the United States. They're literally doing press conferences in front of materials that says Canada is not for sale. They don't want to be the 51st state. We have states here already that don't want to be here. Why would Canada want to become the 51st state? They see the dysfunction. You understand? I think this country's great, and I think there are a lot of great things about this country, but it's totally dysfunctional right now. It's totally unaffordable right now. Why would Canada want that? What are we going to do? They said no. What are we going to do? Are we going to invade them? Because at that point, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're talking about we have to secure our border, national sovereignty down south. And at the same time, hey, we're going to take Canada away from you. I just wish Donald Trump would focus on the American people and the immediate needs of the American people. I don't care what the national language is, officially, because I was speaking English under Joe Biden. I've been speaking English since I learned how to speak with the Southern drawl, for sure. It doesn't matter officially what the language is. What matters is, can I afford to eat and buy medication and pay taxes and, the utility bills and things? Because a lot of Americans cannot. And this is why I hate politics now. Because we're always promised magic beans. And these magic beans hardly ever do they turn into anything else but magic beans. Right? Well, I will end the war in Ukraine on day one. Well, you're a little behind on that. You're a little behind on that promise. But here's the real kicker. I don't care anyway. Can we lower the grocery prices, please? Can we get our veterans off the streets, please? He went through, understandably so. This is what infuriates me about Trump. Because you can see what he's trying to accomplish, and you can see that he means well, but it's like a half-hearted plan that's just thrown together. Went through, fired a bunch of people from VA hospitals. This just happened recently. They were probably, to be fair, they were probably underperforming. They probably were not doing a great job to begin with. Got to get him out of there. Right? According to Trump, we got to get him out of there right now. Who are you going to replace him with? We have a nationwide doctor and nurses shortage. Who are you going to replace these people with? They might have been doing a crap job, but at least they were showing up and doing something. You've replaced them with shadows on the wall, son. Nobody is filling in for these people. Nobody is applying for these jobs. So while I understand getting rid of dead weight, you've got to get some other people in there. And there's just there are no candidates available. This is, keep an eye on Trump. This is what he does. Now, to be fair, I don't want y'all to think I'm hating on Trump. It would be 10 times worse right now under Kamala Harris. So I am glad that we have Trump versus Kamala Harris. But don't go in, strip jobs out, totally gut everything unless you have a plan to fix it and replace people with better, more qualified, harder working people. Makes no sense. I don't know. My mind's all over the place this morning, son, but the cost of living is, at the forefront of that. Who knows what we're going to be talking about next time around? It's always a mystery. Usually it comes from the comments section, though. So be sure and leave a comment. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to get into? Besides cryptocurrency, Ginger, we're going to get there eventually. I think you'd call it Ripple or something. I need to look into that a little more. Till next time, y'all, take care and God bless.